Hey guys, great to see you again. Hope you're all keeping well and healthy. Right guys, what are we going to do today? We're going to briefly go through how to write a bad news email. So oh no, a bad news email. If you're in a leadership position or a managerial position, sometimes, unfortunately, you're going to have to write a bad news email to your employees, right? So I'm going to teach you how to do that today, right? Some good tips here in order to do this effectively. So watch this space and check you later. Yo, what's up? Hey guys, great to see you all here. Thanks again for joining me. Always awesome to have you with me. Right, so as I was mentioning to you outside, today we're just going to briefly look at how to write a bad news email. So some of you may find yourselves in this position when you're a leader or a manager or supervisor. Unfortunately, you've got to break bad news to people, right? So how could you communicate this across to people? Bad news. There's a certain way that you would do it, right? Let's have a look on the screen in front of you. So we have our email here. Obviously, you need to put to would be whoever the email is supposed to be for. You'd put the email address in there. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Remember, if you'd like to CC meaning carbon copy, if you'd like to give this email to someone else, if you'd like to copy them in, that's what that essentially is for. So another person will receive this email if you put CC. And BCC is for if you don't want the person that you're sending the email to know that you've copied someone else into the email. So this is kind of hiding the other person that you're putting into the email, right? So they won't know. The person who's receiving the email is not going to know, okay, that you've included another person in the email. Right, guys? Anyway, we have our screen in front of us here, and you can see I have an email here I've just written for you. Remember, always start with the subject line. Cannot emphasize how important the subject line is. So the subject is going to be about salary changes. This is a company here. And the subject is on money, finance. So it's going to be about salary changes. So short and sweet and to the point, right? Nothing too long. I'm going to start with my greeting, basic greeting, dear staff or dear colleagues, dear staff or dear colleagues, right? Don't forget to have your greeting. Sometimes it's so easy to forget a greeting, right? You just want to write the email, but don't forget that. As they say, it's the small things that count sometimes, right? So always write in paragraphs as well. Try to write your emails in paragraphs. Right? As you can see, I've got 3 paragraphs. So the first paragraph, you write a bad news email when you need to tell someone or a group of people some bad news. You need to write a buffer. Call this a buffer, right? So a buffer, it's like if you think about your car. Maybe you've got a pickup truck or 4x4 and you've got a bumper on the outside, right? That bumper is to protect it in case it smashes into something or collides into something. So it protects it, lessens the impact, right? So the whole thing about a buffer in the email is to prepare the reader for some bad news. You don't want to give the bad news straight away because it may be a bit shocking. Oh my gosh. You need to make a buffer, and a buffer prepares the reader for the bad news. It's preparation for the bad news, okay? And you try to write it as positively as you can. Always remember to write it as positively as you can. Let's look at it here. So we have here, in today's economic climate, we find it extremely challenging to compete with our competitors. So, okay, the background there. It's tough economic times, a lot of competition. Then it goes on to say, this is in addition to rising costs of operating a business. All right, yeah, sure, it's getting more expensive nowadays to run a business. We really appreciate your hard work and dedication to the company over the last number of years. So, well, it's ending that paragraph there on kind of like a goodwill, right? It's showing the appreciation to the worker. We really thank you for your hard work and dedication. So that's what we mean by buffer. Kind of introducing perhaps the bad news in a general way, so the person can get an idea. Okay. Second paragraph is when you're going to give the detail to the bad news. Excuse me. Must have been that chocolate cookie I had earlier. Anyway, so the second paragraph, where you're going to give the detail, the reasons why you are giving the bad news. So, for example, here, I'll read it out. So, however, the company has decided to lower the salaries of employees. The salaries are going to be reduced in order to try to help the company survive in this tough economic climate. Remember, in the first paragraph, you've prepared them for this bad news by mentioning how difficult it is at the moment economically and financially. So you're kind of breaking the news in slowly for the employees that their salaries are going to be reduced, right? It goes on, reducing the salaries of our employees will really help our business in the next year ahead and ensure we can survive. So you're giving the reason why you're cutting the salary. You're not just saying, hey, salary is cut. That's it. No, but you're giving a reason. Yeah. So it's always good to give reasons because people want to know reasons. When you tell someone something bad, you need to give a reason for it. Yeah? But always make sure to give the reasons, give examples. So that's the second paragraph, right? What would be the third paragraph? The third paragraph, always make sure to end your email on a positive, good note. You want that employee somehow, okay, he's got bad news, but he doesn't feel so bad about it because you've shown perhaps your appreciation to him or her. So, for example, this measure will only be temporary. We hope next year to increase everybody's salary to a much higher level. Okay, so this year my salary will drop, but however, it's mentioned here that salary can actually increase next year to a higher level. So perhaps, okay, not too bad. We really value you and thank you always for your motivation and hard work. So, okay, they actually appreciate me and my hard work. That's good. Sometimes there's nothing worse that you work really, really hard and no one really cares or appreciates it, right? But when you acknowledge to someone that they've really done well and worked hard, you feel good, right? Same thing in an email. Don't forget to include that. And then you're ending there. Our company could not operate or survive successfully without. So really emphasizing to the person how important they are for the company. All right, guys, so don't forget to do that. And also you need to put an ending here, right? Same as a greeting, you have your ending. So kind regards or best wishes or yours sincerely, management. Or you can put your name even there. So try not to forget those tips there, guys. Another thing, try to avoid using yourself in an email. Yeah, try to refer it to the company or a group of people. Otherwise, sometimes people may take it a bit personally, right? You can mention, as you see here, we really value you and thank you always for your motivation. So we as a company, not saying I, but as a company as a whole, really appreciate you. Our company could not operate, so our, meaning, company, it's not just me, but it's actually the company. So try to avoid using yourself. Try to refer it to the company or an organization by using words such as we or our. All right, guys. So pretty short and sweet this. I hope this helps you. And once again, awesome to have you here. Check you later, and thanks for your time. So then, let's just recap there what we were learning about how to write a bad news email. Right? Don't forget, you always need a subject line. Always put a subject line so the person who's going to read your email knows essentially what it's going to be about, right? Important, but so easy to forget sometimes, right? Next thing you need to remember is you need a buffer, right? You need a buffer, right? Remember that analogy about your car. Your car has a bumper on it. If it hits something, it's going to lessen the impact, right? So same thing with a bumper, right? It'll prepare the person for the bad news. You're not just going to go and give the bad news straight away like, hey, you're fired. You need to break it in slowly. Right? That's what we call a buffer. Okay. Next thing then, obviously you're going to give the reasons why for a decision, maybe a bad decision. You need to give the reasons why, so that person will then perhaps understand. Okay, you give it obviously more detail. And then the last thing you need to remember is always end on a goodwill. Right? Always a goodwill ending. Don't just end it. All right. For example, as I mentioned, you can say, you've been an excellent employee and we really thank you for your hard work and we've learned a great deal from you. You are highly valued. Or perhaps we're going to have to reduce your salary. However, you've been such a great worker and you always motivate people around you. We are sure by next year your salary will increase and you'll get a good bonus as well. So you're ending on a good note, right? You know, kind of making the person feel, oh, it's not too bad, perhaps this bad news, right? Awesome, guys. All right, try to remember those tips there. I knew I forgot something. If you like my videos, if you do find them kind of helpful, why not subscribe to my channel and you'll get updates all the time about my new releases. It could be beneficial for you in your studies or in your personal life even. Take care, guys, and once again, thanks a lot for your time. Take it easy.